Okay, well I've decided I'm gonna go for a bit of a ride today. I've been spending my entire Christmas holidays drinking beer and eating fatty foods and doing my darndest to destroy myself. Anyway, not feeling very fit, so I've decided I'm going to really cane myself today. I'm going to show you, a lot of people say Sydney is a dangerous place to cycle. I've got to stop here. I've got the mount for this camera upside down and I'm actually switching it off automatically because the buttons are pressing on the wrong spot, so I'm going to probably have to fix that up at some point in time. But not now. In case you're wondering, there'll be various points of time for this video where things will go a lot faster than humanly possible. I've tried to keep this video down to below an hour, but basically what this video is about is people say that Sydney is a dangerous place to cycle, and I'm going to show you a few of the back roads and some of the things that make Sydney quite an exciting and interesting place and a safe place to cycle. So I'm leaving from Kogarah. So this is fairly close to the station, the railway station in Kogarah here. We're just going past the St. George Hospital here. So if you're wondering where I'm starting from, the starting point is St. George Hospital. I'm basically going to make my way through mostly cycleways, although I'm on roads at the moment. You'll see shortly that a lot of this ride was actually on designated cycle paths and very, very quiet roads. So yes, I do have to dice with death coming through Kogarah, unfortunately, but you will see shortly that once I get down to the more cycling friendly places, it's going to be right. Some family here. So we're just scooting along here, through the intersection, and we're heading down to the Princess Highway. But I'm going to turn before I get to the Princess Highway because I'm going to make my way down a quiet street and try and avoid a lot of the traffic. So we're just coming up through here, through the back of Kogarah here. Now, this is at the back of St. George Building Society, in fact. One of the great things about this ride is it uses a thing called the Green Way, and it's a great cycle path. It's quite amazing. You cycle along and suddenly you find yourself crossing Parramatta Road, the busiest arterial road in Sydney, and yet getting there is quite, not distressing at all, really. It's quite a safe ride, so definitely not a dangerous thing to do. If you know the back roads and use designated cycle paths, it's always it's more often than not quite a safe thing to do cycling around Sydney. I commute probably 3 days a week on average. I do a 7.5k ride to the school that I work at, and then on the way home I actually do 21 k's, and I ride along the Cooks River. It's I think one of the better cycling paths in Sydney. Yes, you do have to share it with pedestrians, so if you're on a road bike and you like to really scream along at fast pace, it's not the place for you. But I ride a clunker of a bike. It's got a giant plastic crate on the back to carry stuff. I don't clip into the pedals anymore. I used to ride a road bike. I used to race weekends. Now it's all about the biggest, heaviest bike possible. Because basically what I want to do is torture myself to get rid of the beer gun. I'll do my best to get rid of as much of it as possible. Watch out! Oh, just missed him. Anyway, through the intersection. Oh, orange light, still okay. We're going to make our way down French Street, and French Street is a reasonably quiet street. So as you can see, I'm not being passed by cars. I can ride a little bit out, not really have to worry about the door zone because I have been car doored in the past. I had a gentleman open his door on me and then proceed to ask me what had happened. And of course, I was like, well, I swerved to miss your door, and that's what happened, and that's why I'm lying on the road here. But of course, he said, well, you didn't hit my car. So I was like, well, next time I'll make sure I go through your passenger window so that we don't have to have this conversation. Anyway, we're scooting down here. I think this is at about 120% of the real speed, so it's only 20% faster than I would actually be cycling at. I am quite an elderly gentleman, middle-aged as such. I'm heading towards the half century, so I don't ride as fast fast as I used to, and the bike is a clunker. But here we come down to, I think this is called Centenary Park, I think, and we make our way up into here, and there's a little skate park here on the right. The kids all skate and skateboard and use their scooters and whatnot. There's something happening there, which is great. This is where we start onto our bike path, and as you can see, the great thing about Sydney also is that everyone's addicted to their cars. They just don't seem to be able to get off them. So you know, you get on these bike paths just in the middle of school holidays, and you don't see too many people, which is great. So you're not dodging a lot of bicycle traffic as well. Anyway, you probably wouldn't even know this little detour is here unless you knew it was there. So anyone that lives in this area, if you haven't come this way, this is a great way to avoid traffic on West Botany Street in the Kogarah district, southwest of Sydney. So as you can see, this is a bike/pedestrian path. It is designated as such, so you're not going to get anyone saying to you why you're on your bike on here. And it's just a nice way, like I said, of avoiding West Botany Street, which is, you know, if you get on West Botany Street, you know, travelling the same speed as the traffic, it's a dangerous street to ride on. So this is a way of travelling parallel to West Botany Street and avoiding most of the traffic. So yeah, we're just about to pass a family here. Whoosh, off we go through here, and we're back on the road again. But as you can see, it's a quiet cul-de-sac, and it's certainly not a dangerous cul-de-sac. And I am starting to feel it about now. Like I said, I haven't been the most strenuous person over the holidays. In fact, I spent most of my time sitting and watching YouTube videos. I haven't even done half of the stuff I said I would do. But there you go. Anyway, we're around about here, so we stop, make sure we don't get hit by these cars. We hang a left into this street here. This is going to take me down to, I think it's Bay Street, which runs down to Botany Bay. So this ride is basically going to take me from Botany Bay all the way through to Iron Cove near Balmain. And for the most part, on very, very quiet roads or on designated bike paths. So if you're like me and you've decided that you've done your young and stupid things on the bicycle, and you decide you want to sort of live to an elderly age without getting killed by a car, this might be a good ride for you. And certainly commuting wise, if you're heading out in that direction, if you're heading out towards Iron Cove, if you're going to Abbotsford, if you were perhaps wanting to ride out to Kingsgrove even, which is where I go, this ride's a really good opportunity for you. And yes, hello, nice girl there, go on a motorbike. So this crossing actually has a bicycle symbol on it, so it's for both bicycles and for pedestrians. You can see the bicycle symbol there on the ground as well. So you make your way up to this bit of road here, and this part of the road is also a bicycle road. It's also got cars on it, obviously, but not a hell of a lot of traffic, as you can see. And it's a quiet ride. This is about a 1.5k stretch, I think, that takes you down to the old Brighton Fishers, which is where we start our bike path riding. So once we get through this bit here, we get onto our designated cycle path. But as you can see already, I'm not being passed by a heap of cars. I think you've seen one pass me in the whole time I've been on this road. It's a very quiet road, and like I said, I haven't had any sort of hairy moments riding on this stretch of road. In fact, on this ride, as such, it's been it's never been an unpleasant ride. I haven't had any near-death experiences. So yeah, this is what you really want to think about when you're riding. Is you want to minimise the opportunity for people to kill you. Just a little hint on riding safely too. Obviously look for people in cars. If they're in the car, assume they're going to open the door on you. It's a good thing to do. Another thing is, if a car approaches an intersection, make eye contact with the driver. If the driver doesn't make eye contact with you, assume he hasn't seen you. This is something that I've used time and time again throughout my life, and touch wood, up until this point, most of my accidents have involved stupidity on my own part, or very poor maintenance of the bicycle, not collision with vehicles. If you have a collision with a vehicle, you're going to usually come off way second best, so it's something to be avoided. So anyway, we're scooting down this road here towards Brighton Fishers. It's a nice flat stretch of road, and once we get up to this intersection, we had to hang a left, and then shortly after that we do a right. So as you can see here, I'm going to do the safest thing is, and that's to get on this bike path. So I go right through the roundabout and then get myself on the bike path on the opposite side of the road. It's a two-way path. You can see the division down the middle, and we're going to scoot off on here. And once we cross the bridge, which is where the Brighton Fishers Club was, it's not there anymore, we scoot down here, down this piece of road, and this is also not, this is a dead end, and you'll occasionally get traffic here. People are playing soccer on this field. But off to the right here, you've got boats moored for fishing and whatnot, and once you get to the end of this stretch, it becomes a designated bike path, and you do not have to worry about traffic after we get to the end here. So as you come towards the end, you'll see there's actually a gate that locks the road off, so people can't drive cars down it. So this is actually part of the ride that I normally do on the way home from school. It's a really pleasant ride. You're next to the water, people are fishing, people are playing sport. It's just a really, really pleasant way to decompress at the end of a hard day. And as we come up here, we go through this gate, and I love this bit here. Night time, I've been coming through here and I've seen foxes, lots of bird life, all that sort of stuff. So it's an interesting ride. And when the runway, when the east-west runway isn't running, you've got the north-south runway running at Kingsford Smith. You actually get aircraft flying really, really low over this road. So on certain nights, it's quite an exciting place to come for a ride. You can be a nerd and watch the planes land as well. So this is just, like I said, a nice flat stretch. And as you come up to here, you'll see people fishing. So try and avoid these guys. It's a nice gentleman having a nice day out fishing. Gee, I hope they don't eat those fish, because probably a lot of toxic waste there. But I think most of them just catch and release and do the sport of it. If they're eating them, well, good luck with that. I certainly wouldn't be eating anything I caught in this river. There's a gentleman having a jog. Good on him. He's looking a little bit like I am presently. A bit too much Christmas pudding and too much beer, but good on him for getting out, like me, trying to stop the inevitable. And here we come. We go on to here. Another across to the right. This is a road. There is traffic here. I think it's a Bardwell Park, or there's a driving range here anyway. So this is bike path here that I'm on. You just got to be careful. There's a driveway coming out of the side for a couple of things like the driving range and whatnot. But basically, it's a pretty safe ride. But like anything, you got to be careful. Be ever vigilant, and I'm saying as rides go, this is safe. Is it 100% safe? Nothing is 100% safe. So you do any riding on the road, obviously at your own risk. But I think I have found that by trying to stick to bicycle paths, you certainly lessen your likelihood of anything nasty happening along the way. So as you come up to the end here, yep, just a bit of a ring there. Coming up to the corner, I just did that for fun. Come around the corner. We're riding along a bit of a swamp on the right hand side here. Yep, guy on a road bike. They usually pass me 1,000 miles an hour. Used to try and catch them. Don't do that anymore, because I usually pay for it for the next 3 or 4 days, thinking that running checks that my body can't cache. And we coming up here. There's a bit of a hill after this bit here. An interesting bit where we come in underneath the M5 as well. So, you know, I've been doing this ride now for probably 6 years, 7 years, and I can honestly say on the way home I never get sick of it. It's always enjoyable, always different things happening, and like I said, the stress factor is really low on it because you don't have to worry about idiots on the road. This is the hill, so we're going to climb this now, out of the saddle. Yeah, you might need a defibrillator at the top of this hill. Usually lots of bats in the tree above me there when I'm coming home. As you come down here, on the right hand side there's actually a walkway that's shut off now. I was always wondering why it shut off. On the way home this time I actually jumped the fence. It doesn't say don't go in there, but it is locked. The reason why it's locked is because the little path that used to take you across the wetlands there actually runs underneath the M5 now. And the M5, they must have did a bit of a miscalculation, just stopping to shut the lid on the box on the back of my bike. So yeah, anyway, the walkway is like about 3 or 4 foot below the M5, so you've just got a 3 or 4 foot gap between the bottom of the M5 and this walkway, so that's why it's been shut. I went and had a look. It's an interesting little walk after I jumped the fence. This is a good little bit. This runs under the M5. You know, if you don't cycle or don't do a lot of walking, you wouldn't even know this was here. And this kid here, he's like any boy. He's selected the biggest gear he possibly can because he thinks he's, you know, Lance Armstrong or one of those comfy recent cyclists. And here we come. We go past the family here, and I try and make sure I ring my bell if I need to. I pass kids really slowly. I assume they're going to run out in front of me or do something silly because that's what kids do. So I'm always very careful about that. I do ring the bell, but I try not to do it too loudly or too often because sometimes it scares kids into doing weird and wonderful things like crashing their bikes. So I just watch it really carefully and I'll run off on the grass if I need to. So there we go. We're past her now and we're heading down towards the road that runs up to the international airport. I think it's Marsh Street. It's an absolute nightmare at the moment because they're building the West Connect. But you know, on the bike, not a problem at all. So we're still, as you've seen, all the way here. We're now heading towards, we're at the international airport, and virtually at the international airport. We haven't had to drive on the road. This is also designated bike and pedestrians. Obviously, you give way to pedestrians, which is not a problem. Get around them. It's a great thing about riding a clunker, or you're not on a road bike with skinny little tyres. You can run on the grass and get wherever you need to go. Don't worry about jumping gutters because you don't care about the wheels going out of true because it's a clunker. And great thing about driving a clunker is also that you don't care if someone steals it. I leave it on the front veranda, I chain the front wheel. Someone wants to steal it and carry it down the road. Good luck to them, it's worth about 40 bucks. So there we go, and it's been so reliable up until this point as well. So this is a bit of a dangerous one. We've got to make sure no one turns left on you here. So we're crossing the road here. So much development happening through here. Sydney is becoming like one of those you know, East Asian capitals like Bangkok or parts of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. But you know, we still have great nature and bushland around the place. If you're interested in seeing some of that, obviously there's other stuff on my channel, kayaking adventures and whatnot. But you know, this is something that you can do in your own time. Have a bit of an explore of the bike paths that are available to you. You can find the Bicycles New South Wales and stuff like that on their website. They have the maps. You can look them up, and then you do need to do a bit of research sometimes because they're not always well signposted. And you'll see on this ride, I actually get off the Greenway at one point in time, and I miss quite a large chunk of it, and end up having to ride on the footpath, which I don't advocate doing. But if it's a choice between riding very, very slowly and carefully on the footpath or riding on a really, really heavily trafficked road now, once upon a time I just would have almost kept up with the traffic. I was on a road bike, but now, you know, I have to, you know, acknowledge the fact that I'm a fat old man, so I'll ride on the path if I have to. But anyway, this is also bike path. We're next to the Cooks River Rowing Club here, and you know, next to the Cooks River itself. And it's a nice ride along here. They have just finished a brand new Cooks River bicycle / pedestrian bridge. There was this bridge that was always next to the actual road bridge, and I always wondered, why don't they use that for a bridge? I think it had pipes and whatnot in it, crossing the river, but it looked like a really substantial structure, and I thought that would make a great bicycle or pedestrian bridge. Well, it's only taken like 30 years or something, but they finally seen the light and actually turned it into a cycling bridge. It's got a nice little site-specific artwork, pelican footprints. I actually thought someone had scratched them into the ground off their own bat. But as you come off this bridge here, this is the new pedestrian bridge. You'll see, or you might see it on the ground if you look really carefully as we come off this bridge. You might see what looks like bird prints. I thought the ibises had gone for a wander in the wet cement when they were building it. But if you have a closer look, the prints are obviously, there they are there. See these prints here? Now, they are actually a site-specific artwork, and this is the nerdy artist in me coming out. It's actually a pelican print. The little island, Fatima Island, which you can see when you cross that bridge off to the left, is actually part of the local Aboriginal Dreamtime myths. And anyway, if you stop there and read the story, it's about a warrior who leaves his family behind and goes to battle and gets in a lot of trouble. And when he's crossing the river, he turns into a pelican. That's the short version of the story. If you want to find the longer version, read the plaque at the beginning of the bridge. And the nice girl pressed the button for me here. So we're just waiting to cross the road here to get ourselves back on the bike path. This is the Princess Highway at Tempe, at the Cooks River, what used to be the Cooks River Motorboat Club. I've done kayaks from here when I've gone up Walleye Creek. But you wouldn't want to be cycling on this. If you were cycling on this road, you would most likely have a death wish. So up until this point, as you've seen, I haven't had to ride on the Princess Highway. This is the main arterial road taking me in that direction. But I've basically got all this way without hitting a major road. You'll see that this entire ride, I basically get all the way to Iron Cove, barring the fact that I actually miss part of the Greenway and stuff up. You can actually ride all this way to Iron Cove. And it's a great old ride. So I would strongly suggest you give this an attempt, because it is a hell of a lot of fun. So here you go, we're on our way back along the Cooks River path. Now this part of the path was closed for a very long time. I thought it was never going to reopen. I'm so glad it has. I'm so glad someone's made the effort to actually look after a bike path. This bit of the track used to flood all the time as you come under the railway bridge. And you used to ride through there. It was salty water. It was a Cooks River. You're probably taking your life in your hands if you're getting wet in that stuff. And quite often it would be shut and I'd have to go the long way around because there was so much water in the tunnel. Anyway, for quite a while I was carrying my bike over the pedestrian bridge at Tempe Station and having to go around the back way. They've reopened it. It doesn't flood anymore as far as I know. I haven't seen it flood so far. They put a lot of effort into mitigating the floods and whatnot. And there you go. We've come through there, flying colours, and up the other side. And we're now at Tempe Railway Station. So once again, still designated bike path. And I really, really love this ride. I keep saying that over and over again, but when I discovered it for the first time, I was just like, how lucky are we to have a designated cycle path like this? Because it follows the river, it's not hilly, and you can follow it right out west. I mean, I think my brother actually ran along at one time and ran out to Chilora because he's a lot fitter than I am. He's a bit of an action man. But being big and fat, I'm not going to attempt to run. But here we are, we're crossing the road here at the German Club. I'll pretend that I really want to get going, but actually isn't it great to stop and rest? Once we cross here, we get back on the bike path, on the left-hand side as we hit the Cooks River again, there is a canoe and kayak club, the Cooks River Canoe and Kayak Club. Here it is there, that's the building for it. I've quite often seen people out having a paddle there as well. You do get a few people jogging and whatnot. You will get people too that will just completely take up the entire path, families and people, and they'll just ignore you completely, and it's almost like, stuff you, Jack. Well, that's fine. Just go around and play on the grass. It's not that hard. Hello, ladies. Yeah, so we make our way up here, and you know, this is probably the prettier part of the trip. I've been along here on various days when it's been pouring rain, and they do have a lot of traps now to stop the pollution, stormwater and whatnot. But you know, if it's really, really heavy rain, you know, I've seen, you know, couches, trees, you know, dead cows, you name it, floating down the river. So it's still a travesty of, you know, that just managed to miss that kid. Travesty that people throw into the water. But you know, what can you do? You can obviously, you know, try and find nicer places to go for a paddle, but for the ride, for the most part, it's a lot more scenic than it used to be. I think a lot of people consider the Cooks River to be like an open sewer many years ago, and now it's quite a scenic part of Sydney. So I'm just hoping people get more aware of the damage they do when they chuck rubbish in the gutter. I'm still seeing a lot of cigarette smokers, you know, dropping their butts and just, you know, stepping on them and kicking them into the gutter. And I will say to those people, if you want to smoke, you know, far be it from me to stop you, but just put your your butts in the bin. Like, it's not that hard. Anyway, I'm sounding a little bit sanctimonious now, aren't I? And as we come up here, you actually come up to a kids' park. Now, if you have children, it's there's a lot of people walking their dogs here too. And I've got to say, once again, even when they're off the leash, I haven't had any chase me, bite me. You know, people seem to be aware of, you know, responsible for their animals, which is great. As you come up to this park here, there's actually a little water section of it. In summer, they actually allow you lots of workout stations too. But in summer, you can actually take your kids here. We're not there yet, but up on the right-hand side, as you sort of get closer to the road, I think it is. There's this lovely little park where you take your kids for a dip, little fountains and shallow pools and whatnot. They're not deep enough, you know, to swim in. They're just some like little wading pools, and kids can have a lot of fun playing with the waterfalls and fountains and whatnot. And it's just here on the, as you pass this park, it's actually to the right. You won't see it on the camera view, but in this park, if you come down to this park, you'll find barbecue facilities and that little park. So I've taken my nephew to that park on numerous occasions. It's a great place to come. And as you come up here, there's a bubbler on the right as well. So you can stop at that park and have a drink of water. So I don't even carry a water bottle for this ride because that's a nice little stop midway for a drink. And this bridge has just been refurbished. It wasn't shut, but it was having a lot of work done for quite a while. And we cross here, and just across the road from this spot here, there's actually a coffee shop called Adora. Great coffee, great chocolates. And then you come down here, and once again you're back on the Cooks River and going for a mad cycle. It seems rougher than it really is actually. They've done a lot of work along quite a few sections of the path. They used to be a lot rougher than they are now. And they've, you know, resurfaced and spent money on it, which is great. People spending money on this sort of infrastructure. I would love to see more people commuting and more people using the facility. I just think to myself, you know, with the epidemic of obesity and most for diseases. I'd really like to see more licensed development as well. You can obviously get the power assistant online as well. That's always a good thing to have. A little pup and to stop for it as well as running from me. And hey, in a hurry. Like I said, it's a river, so it's flat. In the school holidays, immediately, just putting it up and watch you see out. As you can see, it's mostly fat old men trying to work off this gear. I like to see kids out, like the way kids start those habits early. Now, we're coming up to the section across the road. Normally, once I cross the river, after this section here, I will turn left down the river. Here we go. Across this road. Islamic Association on that side here. Field on the right. More stuff going on there. And across this bridge, which is about to be refurbished, so at some point in time this may shut, you might have to go up the same side of the river until you get to the next bridge. As presently, it's not a problem to cross here. So it'll just be interesting how long it takes to cross that bridge. Probably go to the potential. Now I would normally turn left at these tennis courts, but instead I go through the middle of the old tennis courts. This takes me up the greenway. Now, very empty streets. I stuffed up, quite a monumental fashion. I did it. The signs are really hard to see quite often, and it's just been popping up everywhere. The signs are quite hard to see quite often. There's little signs on the telegraph that say greenway. Sometimes there's bike path signs as well. But if you go online, I'm sure you can find the actual map of the greenway, and that might be the smart thing to do. But for the most part, I think I followed it fairly accurately. Yeah, I did end up the main road in America. My stuff over there. This bit here, across the road. This is still greenway. I think I made a mistake at this point. I got off the road. What I should have done was turn right. And instead I went up this hill, and that's where I went wrong. I was supposed to turn right to get on the greenway. So this is where the disaster started. I started heading in the wrong direction. The hill that I was going up was steep and over-aligned. That's me just once again popping up another hill. Breathing that pollution. That's not actually pollution. It's the old roof in where I stuffed up. I had to ride it so I should have turned right after I came over that railway bridge. So that was my stuff up. On the way home, I actually found it a lot easier to work out where the Greenway was. Yes, the camera managed to switch itself off. I thought I didn't get any of this footage actually. I thought I tried to preview it in the actual camera, and it wasn't there. But lo and behold, when I actually got it on the computer, the actual file was there. So we had a bit of a win. Anyway, now I'm trying to sort of use the back street parallel to that busy road we were looking at, just to find my way back onto the Greenway, so I'm sort of back out of the traffic again. You know straight away when you're off the Greenway because you just get hit by lots of traffic. Okay, this is actually part of the Greenway here. It is a busy intersection, but once you cross it, you certainly get a lot less traffic. So at these set of lights here, I've got to go straight across the intersection. And as you can see, I don't lane split. It's the worst thing you can do as a cyclist. Yes, you make much better time. In fact, in Sydney, you can sometimes keep up with the traffic by lane splitting and just, riding. What I mean by lane splitting is riding down the middle of the cars and getting back up to the front. But that just means the same motorists have to pass you over and over and over again, and you're just giving them ample opportunity to eventually get frustrated and drive straight over the top of you. So I don't do that, and I think it's a bad thing to do. I think you should just maintain your spot in the traffic, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal anyway. Anyway, coming down the hill here, it's a nice downhill run. I'm not going to get passed by cars here. It's a good amount of speed. In fact, I'm catching up with a car here. This guy didn't know what direction he was going in, and neither did I, because I was unsure whether I had to go right here or left to stay on the Greenway. And I've come in here, and lo and behold, I've gone to, it's actually a light rail station. It's not actually part of the Greenway. So the Greenway, if you're wondering where it runs, a good rule of thumb is it's fairly parallel to the actual new light rail corridor. So, lots of stormwater drains and whatnot were built along the same route, and they've built little paths along next to them. You'll see a couple of those in a moment when I get back onto them. But this road is quite safe. There is a little park you can actually do a little detour through where there's a bike path off to the right here, which I have used in the past. But there you go, there's another car passing me on the other side of the road, which is great. Having plenty of room. Like I said, you don't have to worry on quiet streets because people have ample opportunity to pass you and they don't get frustrated. Oh, this sounds so healthy. Nice little coffee shop on the corner there. I will be stopping for a coffee when I get to Iron Cove. I think I deserve one after this. To have a mocha. Where the Greenway sort of heads back onto like cycle path only is kind of where there's an old flour mill that for a little while was being actually used as artist studios. I had a friend that named Sally who had a studio in there. They're no longer studios as far as I know. There you go, I've gone the wrong way. I'm going back now, I think. But I had to find my way back up to that up to those flour mills. Because that is where you cross back onto the cycle path that takes you up to Parramatta Road, and it's quite almost miraculous that you ride along these quite empty roads, and then suddenly you find yourself on Parramatta Road, and you're just going, A, how did I get here, and B, how did I get here without being hit by a car? Because you usually expect roads leading up to Parramatta Road to be very, very busy. So whoever's thought out this this Greenway has done it with a great deal of care and thought. My only criticism would be that the signage is really, really crappy, and that's probably not their fault. I think a lot of signs have been ripped down. I think there's quite a few people that are resentful of people who ride bikes. And I can understand you do get some really selfish cyclists. I've been the victim of them as well. People that lane split, people that don't follow the traffic rules. I'm even guilty of that on occasion. But by and large, I try to be conscious of motorists. I'm a motorist myself. I try not to make it too difficult for them, and I would advocate that you do the same, and you certainly lessen your likelihood of having an accident. Rather than be adversarial about it, try and be a little bit, Buddhist-minded about it. Anyway, yep, I've gone the wrong way down a one-way street, so I'm looking for the Greenway. I'm a bit lost, but I know I've got to head along that railway corridor that'll take me back to where I need to be. So, hey, any extra Ks I do is going to be of great benefit at the present moment. So we'll just make our way back down here. We're going to try and find the Greenway. But like I said, on the way home from Iron Cove, a lot easier. So, and if you once you get to Iron Cove, if it's a nice day and you're feeling very energetic, you can actually, lock the bike up and go for the bay walk if you want, or ride. You can ride around it as well, but I think it's 5 or 10 Ks. So you can actually lock the bike up, go for a nice big walk, maybe have lunch or breakfast there, and then ride the bike home, which I might do before the end of the holidays. So yeah, another car passing me there, but as you can see, these are not busy roads, and this is a weekday. Admittedly school holidays, but it's a weekday. And traffic is very, very light. I can't remember whether this got me where I wanted to go. I think it did. That's right, I went straight ahead here, which was really stupid. Once again, another dead end. So that's good. Bit of extra mileage. Come back. So yeah, you've got to look for about halfway up the telegraph poles on the corner. You'll see the little signs that say Greenway. And they're the ones you want to be looking out for. So yeah, we've got a busy road here. We just cross it. Sort of busy, not that busy. So this was actually correct. This is actually part of the Greenway again. It's an industrial area, but not a lot of traffic. I imagine if you were coming through here at closing time or whatnot, you might need to be a little bit careful, but peak hour. But traffic is certainly not terribly heavy. Might get heavier as these developments come online, but these are all apartments that are being built where the old flour mill was. So for a long while, that flour mill, like I said, was being used as artist studios. But why would you, rent space to artists and think about cultural aspects of Sydney when you can just make more profit? That's my, communist socialist comment for the day. And as we come up here to the top of the hill here, you've got a roundabout. Now the roundabout, I think if you hang a left, takes you up to Summer Hill. If you go right, maybe Stanmore. But you go up and underneath this bridge here. Now you've got to make sure you take the lane up at this point in time, because you've got to, as you come down here, you've got to hang a right into this car park. See, how would you know this unless you knew it? So you come into this car park, and there's our bike path, our Greenway. So you come around here. Now, looking at this bush setting, this is the middle of Sydney, and we're not even a kilometre from Parramatta Road now. Anyway, I've gone the wrong way. So there's an interesting old railway bridge that I don't think is in use anymore, and then there's the actual main line. So yeah, we're going to do a little bit of backtrack, and yeah, it follows the stormwater drain. And there's a lot of water in it at the moment because it's high tide, so it's actually a tidal part of the drain. And we're heading on down to, would you believe it or not, we're heading on down to Parramatta Road. This is a bike path, so bike/pedestrian path. So it's a great little ride. As you come up to the top of the hill here, you're thinking, well, where am I? Am I in suburban Sydney? No, I'm on Parramatta Road. Check it out. So that's the light rail station. at Leichhardt, Parramatta Road. Now you had to get across the Parramatta Road here. Don't worry, you don't have to try and get through across this traffic. You can use the bridge. So yeah, you hang a right here. I think I got off the bike at this point in time. I was in the wrong gear. So I went for a little bit of a wander. Had to get to the top of the hill, and then you cross the bridge. So you hang a right, and on the ground there, I don't know if you saw it, there's a greenway symbol. So every now and then it's written on the ground as well, greenway. So if you don't see that for a little while, you don't see the little green signs, you probably know you're not going where you need to go. But yeah, like I said, you can look up greenway, and that might be the smart thing to do. So we're crossing Parramatta Road at the moment, and as we cross the bridge here, if you look down on the ground, at the end of this fence on the right hand side, see the white writing? Greenway. So we turn around and we come down the hill. And underneath the bridge. And this is where I stuffed up last time too. See how I'm going right here? This takes you back onto our path, which inevitably is going to take us up to our preferred destination, which is Iron Cove, and in the Bay Walk, which is lovely. As you can see, it's a very scenic bike path, lots of trees, and lovely dead leaves and whatnot. The worst places to go for a ride, and as you saw, just off Parramatta Road. So, if people complain that you can't commute in Sydney because it's too hilly or it's too dangerous, I would venture to suggest that a lot of the time that's not true. Certainly, you might not be able to do it every day, but I think I'm 48 years old and I can do a 30k day without a problem, at least 3 times a week. That's better than nothing. So I think that's the end of the path there, but then what happens is you cross this bridge here, which is crossing the stormwater channel. You're in Harbourfield now, as the sign says. And you cross the road, and when you cross the road here, you then get on to bike paths that lead you all the way, you can see the signs there, you hang a right here, that leads you all the way to Iron Cove. So busy days, if it's a nice day, you'll get a lot of pedestrian traffic here. You get a lot of other families and whatnot, people walking their dogs. Just go around them. No point in hoping that they'll get out of your way. It's just easier to go around. You make your way down. Some tennis courts as well here. Barbecue areas. Now there's a really, really good exercise circuit. You'll see it coming up in a second. And normally you've got chin-up bars and push-up bars and whatnot. This is like nothing I've ever seen. It's pedal machines. It's stair climber stuff. It's just stuff like kind of stuff you'd see in a gymnasium, which is great. So I'll show you in the tick. So as you can see, some really nice bridges have been built. So on this section here is where the exercise equipment starts. I don't know if you'll actually see it in shot as we're coming along here, but yeah, managed to pass them. This is the tennis courts. From what I can tell, I don't know if you have to book them or not, but it looked like it was an office there. And there's the exercise equipment. So there's some really snazzy workout stations along here. So yeah, there they are there. So, hats off to whoever thought of that idea. Once again, Great idea. Let's see more people using this stuff. Because what do they say? You can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. There's another workout station on the left. Yeah. Child with a death wish. Yelling out to his sister, "There's a boat coming! Look out! Look out!" By then I'm doing about 5k's an hour. And she pulls off to the side. Across this bridge here. And we are nearly to Iron Cove. So, obviously this video is a really long one. It's nearly an hour long. The actual trip took me about an hour and 18 minutes from Kogarah to Iron Cove. Not really riding fast. So, I don't know how many Ks it is, but an hour and 18 minutes for, ride. So there and back, 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours, 40 minutes. Taking it fairly easy, not really pushing myself too hard. So definitely a doable ride on a nice day. And as you come up here, we're getting very, very close to Iron Cove now. And that long-awaited for coffee. I had to come over here and have a look at this because this thing was there. It looked like it'd been abandoned. Been really interested in getting myself a velomobile. Something that's probably a little bit more snazzy and aerodynamic than this. But I was thinking, wow, someone's actually made trouble to build that, and it's been dumped here. But it is actually chained to that wall there. So obviously someone's probably not looking after that well, but they still want it. So yeah, stopped to have a look at that. And then back on this path, which takes us under the bridge. Now this bridge isn't being used anymore, it's just for pedestrians. And this is part of, I think this is part of the Bay Walk. So as you come up here, there's this function centre on the right where you can grab yourself a nice coffee or something to eat. So that's, by that point in time, I'm absolutely drooling for a coffee. Think you want a coffee after a long ride like that, but I'm a bit of a caffeine addict. And up on the right here is where I got my coffee. And I've got to say, the coffee was good. The gentleman was very friendly, and he made a good coffee. So he just stopped here. What the heck? Let's get our coffee here. I think next time I will go for a walk, but chain the bike up and go for a walk. There was some sort of function happening here at the time. A couple of limousines parked across the road. Made it a little bit difficult to get through. A couple of other middle-aged men trying to get rid of the Christmas cheer. And we parked the bike. And it's time for that long-awaited coffee. But of course, I don't like that where I've parked the bike, it's in someone's way. So let's plop it down here and grab the coffee.